Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a very good evening to you and a warm welcome to Newsline Live on this, the first day of December 2021, when a fire broke out on the deck of the MV Xpress Pearl cargo ship on the 20th of May 2021. An estimated 70 to 75 billion pellets of pre-production plastic, known as noodles, spilled into the ocean and along the Sri Lankan coastline. That spill of about 1,500 tons of noodles, many of which were burnt by the fire, has threatened marine life and poses a complex cleanup challenge. Tonight we've got with us a member of the chairman of the Centre for Environmental Justice, Mr. Ravindranath Dabare, who's also the president of the Sri Lankan Environmental Lawyers Association. Very good evening to you, Mr. Dabare.
Good evening.
And welcome on to Newsline Live. Davin, this is a new report that's come out, and it appears to be, it says there that because of some of these noodles, these pellets, were actually burnt, and because of that, there are actually, it is entirely possible that there should be two types of a cleanup operation going on to handle the unburnt ones and the burnt ones. Can you explain that a little bit to our viewers, please?
Of course, actually, according to my view, this has to be a multiple cleanup operation, because not only two types, even certain noodles were burnt, certain noodles were unburnt, and certain noodles had undergone chemical reactions when mixed with the chemicals. Actually, this Express Pearl ship exploded with the fire. With the explosion, in addition to the noodles, as you stated, lot of chemicals were released.
So the makeup changed?
Yes.
Right.
And their density was changed, even their composition was changed, and the nature was changed, color was changed, and the size was changed. Therefore, actually a multi-pronged cleanup operation has to be established and initiated. But so far, according to my knowledge and my observation, even I have visited a few times to the beach cleaning operations to visit and observe the beach cleaning operation on invitation by authorities with some of environmentalists.
Yeah.
But we are not satisfied with the ongoing operation. Even there was a machine invented by one of the Sri Lankan inventors to clean the beach, and that operation was also taking place on the very low key. Even now, according to my knowledge, now that operation is also halted. And there were various clashes between the Sri Lankan inventor and the authorities, especially the authority responsible for the cleaning is MIPA, right? The MIPA is the statutory authority, Marine Environment Protection Authority. It is the duty of the statutory duty of the MIPA to clean or take care of the ship-based pollution.
Okay.
Any ship-based pollution, either on the coastal zone, even the seabed, it is the duty of the MIPA to take care of it and to clean up. But
no, this new study, and as you just told us, shows how the fire modified the physical and chemical properties of these noodles. So the question really is, how dangerous are these noodles?
yes, these noodles in
and the long-term damage. What is
yes,
the long-term damage?
These noodles in its natural form is also dangerous, and even these plastic noodles will remain in the seabed or in the shore for hundreds of years
before it can break up.
And it takes time, and while breaking up, it add lot of chemicals and lot of harmful constituents to the environment
and to the marine life?
And to the marine life. Even certain marine species might swallow it, and then they might face with a lot of breathing difficulties, and their lives.
And can this be reversed?
No, this cannot be reversed. Actually, this cannot be 100% reversed, because there is no mechanism for the total cleanup of this type of a disaster. Even lot of environmentalists and a lot of scientists, even the experts, say this is the biggest chemical disaster the world has faced so far.
And so who will suffer the most? People, marine life, or both?
Yeah, actually, marine life and people, I am as an environmentalist, I don't like to divide, because we all are living beings.
Right. So we are all equal.
We all not equal. Even we are depending on marine life. Even we consume lot of fish. Even our activities affect the marine life. That we have a lot of reactions and correlations in especially.
As a legal person, does our constitution protect the marine life in this country?
Actually, there is a constitutional protection, because section 28F and 2714 actually imposes statutory duty on the state or state organs. That means the executive department and authorities, even according to the recent judgment, the judiciary has also stated even the judiciary has some responsibility to protect the environment. And even under the section article 28F of the constitution, you and I and all all citizens of the country are duty bound or are responsible for the protection of environment. Those are the constitutional provisions. In addition to that, there are a lot of provisions. Even under the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance, we have to protect turtles, dolphins, whales, and various other species, marine species, which were affected as a result of this disaster.
Several hundred turtles and other sea creatures washed up on the shores of Sri Lanka, and one state minister alluded or blamed the dying of these turtles to a bad season in the bad weather or a bad season in the oceans. Do you agree with that?
No, I do not agree. If any minister has stated so, I do not agree, because this is not normal, and we have not witnessed any of such incidents.
So the loss of these turtles, that was a very poignant thing. You can see them there, and it affected all of us, and we were all moved by that. And so the death of these things are directly attributed to this disaster, in your view?
Yeah, according to my opinion, because actually the expert says what is washed on or what is reached ashore is only 10% of the affected species, because most of the species, they sometimes bury underwater, sometimes they were eaten by various other marine creatures, and they were sometimes washed to various other beaches, not only to Sri Lanka. Even likewise, what we have witnessed is only about 10% of the affected species.
So it is only now really that we are learning at least the tip of the iceberg of this mega disaster.
I quite correct, because although the shore is affected, even nowadays also, still the noodles are still reaching the beach, right? Now the wreck removal operation has commenced recently, but still the noodles are reaching the beach. If you watch the Sarukko area, still we can find noodles reaching the beach, but not we are seeing only the beach. What is the nature of the seabed? Seabed is a very vast area.
Now, Mr. Dabare, I want to ask you this. successive governments, even now, in the past and so on, and I'm sure even in the future, they all allude to the importance of the seas of Sri Lanka, that Sri Lanka is on the highway of the sea routes between the east and the west. In the context of all that, and if they are alluding to such importance of our sea, the seas of Sri Lanka and the so-called sea highway, right, where over 350 ships pass by our southern coast. In all that, taking that into account on the one side, do we have the equipment and do we have the expertise to deal with such disasters? Because if you are trying to attract the ships here, then you need to be prepared. You need to have a plan.
That's a very good question, because we call ourselves as a marine hub, right?
Yes,
but
it's all nice tags.
Yes.
But where's the planning?
Yeah, we don't have any such equipment to face this type of scenarios or disasters. Even the way this particular incident, even the Xpress Pearl incident was handled, it exhibits our weaknesses and our actually defects in our planning, and what we are lacking, the equipments and the readiness, we are lacking, and we are far behind in most of the countries, resources of the most of the countries, and most of the harbors are compared.
Newsline, for weeks and weeks and months and even years now, we always ask this question: what about planning? What's the plan? Nobody really is interested or bothered about the importance of planning, and this disaster is a case in point. If we are this maritime hub that we want to showcase to the world and try and attract all the investment and so on and so forth, we've got a brand new port there, and attracting investment into the Colombo port and all these businesses without any planning. No planning to deal with disasters.
Yes, quite correct. No planning, no equipments, no expertise. Yeah, even to douse a fire of this nature, we don't have proper equipments and the firefighting chemicals, mechanism, experts. None of these things we don't possess, because that was one reason for this disaster, because we have contributed as a country for the damage of this nature.
Now then, I'll come back after the break. We'll talk about the compensation, the money, part of it. But I'd like to point out, and thank you for a viewer who's done the mathematics, and these phones are nice, aren't they? They've worked out that between, we said between 70 and 75 billion noodles have been 1,500 tons. One of our viewers is pointing out that per head, based on 21 million population, that's 3,571 noodles per person. Now then, that's just one of those statistics. But is there a sense of urgency displayed by the authorities in this country to pursue compensation that will reflect the damage that has been done to our country, and a country that relies so much on tourism and on our natural beauty?
No, actually the mechanism of obtaining the compensation and the steps so far taken by the government authorities is very pathetic and very actually it's not up to the standard and up to the expected level, because we have spent more than 6 months so far, and still environmental damage has not been able to calculate.
That's tantamount to criminal negligence, in my view.
Yes, maybe these officials and these responsible authorities.
That's a dereliction of duty, Mr. Dabare, surely.
Yes, even they establish certain committees to calculate the damages caused on different spheres, damages caused on fisheries, industries and fishermen, tourism, coastal damage, air pollution damage. but they established committees, but for number of months even the expenses of the committees were not met. How the committees can continue the compensation? Even I personally know the local inventor who was engaged in beach cleaning, he was not paid his dues for more than 3 or 4 months.
That's absolutely ridiculous, and I am going to have to read this message before we go for the break. And this is from a viewer. Unfortunately, the corrupt feel that planning is a waste of money, sir, unless they can be coerced and think otherwise because they're corrupt. On that note, we'll go for a short break, take a peek at this evening's primetime news, and we'll see you on the other side of the break.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat.
And welcome back to Newsline Live. I'm in conversation with Mr. Ravindranath Dabare, who's of course the chairman of the Centre for Environmental Justice. Now then, corruption has been the scourge of progress in this country from almost all walks of life. But who would have thought that even the marine pollution that has carried on has been the subject of corruption, or it certainly seems that way. Mr. Dabare, why does Sri Lanka appear to be so frightened of ITOF, that is the International Tanker Owners Federation? Why is Sri Lanka appearing to pander to their sort of needs or their line?
Actually, I am also wondering why this is taking place, because we being an independent country and our officials are independent and they have the statutory powers to take decisions and even to claim civil, even litigate for the civil claims caused by this ship disaster. But we observe lot of officials are now dancing to the tune of the ITOF.
The International Tanker Owners Federation.
Actually, they are looking into the interest of the polluter, the ship owner. We have been continuously pressing our government officials not to be guided by their instructions, because they are trying somehow or other to mitigate the amount of the compensation payable to the country.
Obviously, without even looking at the accounts, but the funds available to ITOF must be immeasurable.
Maybe they
have a lot of money.
They must be having a lot of money. They must be.
Well, a tanker isn't cheap, is it? You know, it's not a little Maruti, is it?
Yes, and they must be spending this money to compromise some of the officials. That is the view of some of the environmentalists are of the view that even the beyond their expectations, beyond the expectations of the public, they are just idling and dancing to the tune of the ITOF and evading their duty and delaying their duty. You know, Mr. Wow, actually, once the beach cleaning is delayed, what will happen due to tidal waves? The noodles that are collected on the shore will go back and vanish. Then the proper calculation of the damage cannot be done, cannot be assessed.
Here's a wonderful question from somebody. Did Sri Lanka receive adequate compensation for the damages caused by this disaster?
No, not at all.
What have we received so far?
So far we have received, according to my knowledge and according to the information available with me, we have received some amount into 3.5 million US dollars, that is for the compensate the fishermen.
$3.5 million.
But so far we haven't received anything for the for the damages caused on the environment.
What about the cleanup operation? Who's been paying for that?
Cleanup operation, some money has, according to the information I have, some money has been received by the MIPA from the ITOF to be payable to the parties involved in the cleanup operation. But the full amount incurred in cleaning up operation has not so far been paid.
What's a conservative estimate of how much compensation Sri Lanka can hope to get?
No, according to their website, actually, at the time of
their website, meaning the Xpress.lk
owners website.
Yeah.
At the very first few days, their website estimated the damages payable to Sri Lankan government or to our country from $5 billion US to $7 billion US. But
ladies and gentlemen, you heard that right. It's 5 billion with a B US dollars, between 5 billion US dollars and 7 billion US dollars is what was on the Xpress Pearl owner's website.
But but after few days, they have removed it.
Oh, marvelous! They took it off. But knowing you and your organization and your legal people, you must have captured those images.
Yes, we have images of them.
Wonderful. That's what they should have done with everything. So, excellent. At least that'll come in handy. Now then, let's ask this. What legal steps has our government taken to amend legislation, to ratify international conventions and so on?
It's a very pathetic and ridiculous on the authorities, actually. Although the amending the legislations to the international standard and current standards has taken place 8 years back, so far we have not been able to conclude the amending process. Therefore, we have a lot of legal lacunas, actually loopholes in our statutes to obtain compensation. We must appreciate that we must actually we know that there are certain loopholes, but we have to take immediate steps to correct this or rectify this. But even after this disaster, I have not seen any steps being taken to rectify these laws and to amend the laws, and even certain important international the conventions we have not ratified. Even hazardous chemical convention, HNS convention, which is the most important convention in this for the disasters of this nature. Actually, if we have ratified the HNS convention, there is a special fund, HNS fund. Through that fund, we could have obtained a lot of compensation, but we have not ratified, we have not bothered, even not we, actually our authorities and our government officials, they have not taken steps to ratify these conventions. Even I don't know, they are failures.
You know, thank you for all these questions that are coming around. There's so many that I can't possibly take them all. But, you know, somebody's pointing out that in our budget, our forces have been allocated much more money. Surely, what kind of budget allocation has been given to the cleanup operation here? Is there any more money, or is there no money?
No, actually, cleanup operation, of course, has to be done according to the statutory provision by the MIPA. But MIPA, if the MIPA is incurring expenses, then it's our poor people's tax money. The MIPA should take steps to obtain that money from the polluter.
Yes, it's not like we've got billions and billions of dollars in the reserve account at the central bank, is it? We've only got 2.3 billion. We can't pay for the fertilizer, we can't pay for the oil, according to the ministers concerned. All right, I'm not making this up. It's what Mr. Gamampilla said. He said we haven't got no money, so we've got to close down the refinery.
But if the compensation of Xpress Pearl disaster is properly calculated, it exceeds the foreign reserves, the dollar reserves that we are currently having in our central bank.
There you go. I do hope that the governor of the central bank heard that, because he can get on the flight and go quickly to Singapore and get some compensation, and our accounts will look very good then. Thanks to the disaster, but you know, and our marine friends will, in a way, in a perverse sort of way, helping us to get some dollars in.
But with our authorities and our officials, I don't think that will happen, because they are.
Why is that? Is there no commitment to serve the country, to serve the environment insured to serve our future?
No, according to my observation, many of the officials they are somehow or the other trying to pass the time and trying to
wait for retirement, is it?
Maybe, or trying to pass the time till the damages actually subsidized.
This is a very important question, you know, because this is involving marine and so on. Is it safe to eat the fish from that area?
That of course we can't directly answer that question, because the fish sometimes the fish may be not so safe as earlier, but it depends, because certain fish may be affected with the noodles and other chemicals even, because the noodle is not the only disaster that or not the constituent that creates the public health issue. The chemicals which were emanated from the containers, which were leaked from the containers, spread all over the ocean, and most of these marine species were affected by these chemicals.
Now, it's a very quick question. It's a legal one. You know, apparently this ship, when they were given permission to enter Sri Lanka, it was already on fire. Now then, will that affect the insurance claim? That we knew there was a fire, so you know it's your problem. It's not the problem of the insurance company. Is there any such situation?
No, according to the reports, so far the available with the authorities and available with us, the ship has informed the smoke to our authorities after entering to our territorial seas. Therefore, we are actually accusing the ship owners bringing in unseaworthy ship to our territorial waters.
All right. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Such an interesting explanation of this mega disaster to have affected us. Mr. Ravindranath Dabare, thank you very much for being on Newsline. And that's the way it was on Newsline Live this evening. Do take care. And it's now time to join Portia for this evening's primetime news. Take care and God bless you.